Welcome to Static Model Mayhem. On this episode we'll continue painting a deck that we've left on our previous escapade, but first of all we're going to even out the surface before our next coat of paint. It's not a very time-consuming process, just a couple of minutes for a ship of this size, but it's going to even out the surface before our next coat of paint. As well as get any dust particles out of the way. Right, as usual, Vallejo's dark sea grey. Give it a good shake. Thinner medium. You can thin this out with water, but sometimes I prefer to use the appropriate thinner just for the hell of it. Makes it a bit more controllable, if you like. %50 paint on our brush, and off we go. The main trick about brush painting is not to let your brush totally dry, because acrylics tend to dry on the brush, which is something that we definitely do not want. So how do you solve this? Sponge. You clean every 5 or 4 brushfuls and you have a moist but not overly wet brush. Don't worry about these spots because we're going to turn the ship around and cover them. Not bad. Next piece of the deck. So by having a moist brush, what you can achieve is better control. You can guide the paint exactly where you want to. And it flows from the brush a lot better than having a totally bone dry brush. Your main goal is to let the paint glide off of it. There we go. Perhaps I should have masked, but we'll get there eventually. I could cover a larger area with a flat brush, but I really like this one. I don't know. I really like its bristles and the level of control that it gives me, so why the hell not? Another advantage of a brush is that you usually don't need to mask as you do with an airbrush. There's a bit of precision work there, very good enough. Right, let's take care of the other side. Don't worry about this part, this is where the railings are going to go, so we can cheat a little. Just a little. Just let it spread as evenly as possible. Oops, we almost missed the spot. Nice. The most time-consuming part of brush painting is letting the paint to actually cure. Not dry, but cure. I usually give them about 48 hours, maybe more, depending. If I'm painting metallics with a brush, I give them 3 days, just to make sure that nothing gets lifted on subsequent layers. And that's it, really. Other than that, steady hand, patience, and paint consistency. If you want to get consistent result, paint consistency is the best thing you can do. In other words, keep your same mixing ratios. See how nicely it flows? Just glides. I just glide my paintbrush and everything goes out. There we go. It's a bit tricky with the camera, but we manage. Paintbrush painting a model is nice and relaxing sometimes. Oops. Hang on. Let's fix this one on the fly. Cotton bud. There we go. After this stage, our next step would be to varnish the area, give it a satin varnish and get it ready for a tiny amount of oil washes. Just a bit, we don't want it over weathered. Not sure if you can hear this, but someone's having fun with firecrackers around. Ah. Whatever floats their boat. Another trick when you're going towards the edge is not use the paintbrush for the edge, just let the paint slide and it will cover itself. A small piece there. We haven't covered. And say we're good enough. Now, for the hangar, for the helicopter deck, according to my references, it's a color a bit lighter than this, so we're using these two. Going to give it a slightly lighter hue. Let's see where we are. Not bad. I'd say we're close enough. Of course, this area is this part of the deck is primed. So yeah. Let's put the first layer on that. On your first layer, you're not looking for a full coverage, because if you do, you'll be applying your paint way too thick. You're just after a suspicion of your color. Now for this tricky bit right here, I would say it's good enough. Speaking of good enough, we have a couple more pieces to paint the deck. This little beauty here and this one. Right there. Not sure if you can see it. Let me take main color. Oops. See? Okay then. And this should be our final coat of paint, final base coat layer, at least for the horizontal areas. And following that, we'll move into adding just a bit of weathering, just a bit. And following that, photo edge, rigging, attaching all the small bits, guns, radars, that sort of thing. And we should be able to call it a day. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy building ships. Especially Cold War ones. I've tried to make a sailing ship, build the HMS Bounty, but too much of a hassle for a second attempt. But you never know. You never know. If you make a mistake with your paintbrush, your best course of action is to clean it immediately. When the paint is fresh. So here in there. Okay. Almost there. one. That's another small balcony down here, and we're done. As usual, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and see you on the next episode. Take care.